It's been brought to my attention that I haven't had a haircut in a long time. Well, I better do something about that, shall I? That is why, on the count of 3, I shall snap my fingers, and through the magic of movie editing, my hair will be cut beautifully. In 3, 2, 1. In 3, 2, 1. What? It's not working. No matter, we will just go straight to the intro and you'll have to deal with it for another week. I do apologize. A barrel now because I turned 18. I love that thing like I'd love a child. Thank you, Uncle James. And today we are talking about marketing and personal business with Mark Chapman. How you going, Mark?
Hey, how's it going? All good news, thanks, man.
Very well, very well. I guess let's just start right off the bat. Now, me with my company and business, not really company yet, I'm thinking about changing my brand of the business. What sort of things should I be thinking about, and is it really a good idea?
Well, I guess the first thing to think about is, the big question is why? Like, why are you rebranding? There's a few reasons people would rebrand, and that's, I guess, if you have some new goals you want to achieve with your business and you don't feel that your current brand is meeting those needs, I guess, that would probably be the obvious one. So, is there something you're unhappy about with your current brand that's not working for you that you're looking to fix up?
I guess it is. It's, I feel like we did it around 3 years ago, and I think it's a little bit dated and not really to the level that I'd like it to be at. And I guess I just really want to look very professional, have all the logos, all of the banners and stuff like that for social media. And, I guess at the moment it's not fully there yet.
So I guess not fully yet there is probably a good point to be at. I guess one way to put it is a brand is definitely more than your banners and your logo and your, I suppose, your social media images. It's really about an authentic portrayal of who you are and what your business means and what you want to put out there. So, you've already done a lot of work on it. You've already done 3 years in there. So there's probably a lot of value in there that you don't necessarily need to throw out. So, is it a complete redo? Is it a complete rename? Or is it just sort of a bit of a refresh and just a bit of an update of what you have? So those are really important things to ask when you go through something big and structural like that, because you've got a lot of goodwill that you have built up in those 3 years already. So, how much of that you want to retain and how much of that you want to take forward with you, how much of that is good for you, and, what do you need to fix up? So you'll probably find you sort of somewhere in the, in the middle there between, needing to maybe, look a little bit more professional, but, bring all the good stuff with you that you've built up.
Oh, yeah, for sure, because I guess, it'd be hard to start completely all over again. It does work for some people, but retaining all of that information and experience that I've got over the past 3 years is handy. I guess what I'd be looking at doing is name change, logo change, and maybe just the structure of my socials and stuff like that, as a heads up, I guess, for my audience.
Yeah. And look, again, you're nailing it there as well. For your audience is exactly, a question you need to ask as well is, is what you currently have there working for the audience that you're looking to talk to? Perhaps it did work for your audience 3 years ago, or perhaps you weren't really sure who your audience would be 3 years ago, and now you've got a clearer idea of that. So again, it's about, asking those questions. What do you want it to do for you? Who you're talking to, and that'll really give you a sort of, I suppose, the starting understanding of what those few little steps are that you might need to go through to update it.
Fantastic. Well, I guess let's completely segue onto a next question and keep this ball rolling, because I'm loving how it's going. I guess really, why is it so important for branding to be with business? Why is business branding so important?
Well, I guess as I was saying earlier, it's so much more than the logo or a couple of pictures or a few colors and all that. And I think people often get caught up in that and think that your brand is your logo, and it's really so much more than that. Your brand is essentially, without making it sound too grand, your brand is really your promise to your audience or your clients or whoever you're talking to. It's, it can be a set of values, it can be the culture that you're trying to encapsulate, it can be, the entire, I suppose, picture that you're trying to paint for your people. So it's important on a lot of levels. Brand is how you talk, how you present, how you look. It's all of those things. It's how you respond when people get in touch with you. So I guess it's important to consider all of those things. So why is it important to a business? Take for example, you have a business that's got a beautiful flashy logo, you've got a lovely website, and everything looks fantastic. And then somebody walks in the front door or rings up, and you've got a really cranky receptionist who is really rude and completely blows the whole thing for you. What you've essentially lost the brand battle there, because I suppose you've let people down. You've built up their expectations of what they should be getting when they arrive, and then destroyed that with something else. So it's really important to know what your brand is, know who you're talking to and who you're branding for, and then to carry that through every single part of your business, from your first impressions, your visuals, your communications, to then right through to your people and how you talk and how you follow up after business and how you present in every single way. So is it important? Is absolutely critical, especially today. Not all businesses get to, like in the old days, the business would have a shop front, and you'd be able to go in there when it was business hours. These days, 24/7 business hours. You have a website, you have all of the stuff out there all the time representing you. So every step along that journey that you're going to take your audience on needs to be right all the way through. So a brand couldn't be more important for a business.
Fantastic. Well, thanks so much for that insight, because I guess that is really the most important thing. And I guess, branding is the key. Is it a key of, I don't really want to say success, because that can also be luck, but, can that lead down that road?
Look, absolutely. Again, if you have a solid and clear direction for where you want your business to go, and you have a really clear communication of that to your audience, you already won half the battle. If you can get your message out there and you know who you're talking to, and you can get people talking to you, that's the first step to success for your business. If you can then back that up and, I suppose, deliver on that brand promise when people actually arrive, and whether it's your product or whether you're the product or whatever that happens to be, and you are delivering what they expected, it's really hard to muck it up from there. Really, it's sort of yours to lose after that if you've done the initial foundation steps right.
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess that's an important message. That is an important message for young people to take home. Branding is so important for your business, and it will really help you in your business growth.
Definitely.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'll go. This has gone very quickly, actually. I'm quite surprised. But I will digress to the next question.
Absolutely.
I'd love you to give me 3 tips for young people starting a business, and 3 marketing tips. How to get their name out there, and why that's important.
Sure. Well, I guess there's a lot of things. There's a lot of things you can do, and the first thing is to, I suppose, not get overwhelmed by all the channels and outputs that are available to get your material out there. Really, the first tip is really to understand yourself. If you're talking about personal branding and marketing yourself, it really comes down to who you are and understanding who you are as a product, for lack of a better word. What is the message that you want to get out there? So tip number one is really, I suppose, look inside and ask yourself those questions. Understand what the message is that you're getting out to the public there. The clearer that is, the easier it is to package up. If you have a really simple message and you know how to, and you know what you want to say, it's so much easier to package that up in a number of different ways. The second is know your audience. The thing is, it's all good and well to say, hey, I've got this thing I want to sell, or I want to sell myself, or whatever that happens to be. But who are you talking to? Communication can be so different to so many different people. And my son is 15, and he gives me a hard time. I'm supposedly the boomer, and I never get any of his jokes. And if I was attempting to be a comedian and appealing to his friends, it would be terrible, because I have this absolute disconnect, and the boomer humor doesn't come across. So it's understanding that audience really gives an insight into what you need to be saying and how you need to be talking to them. It's kind of the analogy of dressing to make your audience feel comfortable. If you're going for a business meeting at a bank, rocking up in thongs and boardies is possibly a bad idea if you want to portray a good brand image of yourself. Whereas if you were looking to go be the president of a board riders club, you're rocking up in a three-piece suit would probably hurt you. That's the wrong audience for that kind of communication. So understand your audience, and from that, if you know what your message is and you know what your audience, who your audience is, it's really easy to tailor and really easy to go, hey, my audience uses this medium. Perhaps you're talking to a certain group of people that are really active on Facebook. That's great. You know where they are, you know who they are, and you know what media they're using, so you can talk to them through that. So tip 2 is know who you're talking to. And then honestly, tip 3 kind of trumps everything, is just literally be authentic. I know it sounds a bit hackneyed, but being authentic, being yourself, just being genuine is so important. I mean, it is so easy, and people are so inoculated to marketing, and people are so aware that they're being sold to all the time, that it's really, really hard to be a good liar, to get a story that isn't true across. And if that's how you want to go about business, that's a terrible starting point. So be honest, be yourself. Your brand or your business's brand doesn't have to appeal to everyone. It really doesn't have to appeal to everyone. If you know what your message is and you know your audience is, as long as your brand is appealing to your audience, then your battle's won. So be as honest and authentic as you can be. And by being yourself and by putting yourself out there and by packaging that up in the most professional, appealing and honest way, it's really, really hard to stumble from there.
Yeah, I could, lots of that really hit home, it's like, when do you stop trying to appeal to so many demographics? I see so many companies right now who are just like trying to appeal to everyone. They're not like, just trying to stick with their group. And, in some ways they can it can be almost oversaturating, or they kind of lose the meaning of their business or company. And it's weird to see that. And I can definitely tell what you're saying, it's very true.
That's great. Yeah, I mean, nobody can make everybody happy. I mean, just like people, you can be the nicest person in the world. You're not going to connect with every single person on the planet. In the same way, your brand is not going to connect to every single person on the planet. So it's really find your people and be honest with them and be yourself and get your message out there. And, if you are successful in that group, it's helpful if that's a big group that supports you well in what you want to do. But even if it's a small audience, you can have a small niche audience that loves you and loves what you do, and that's the most important thing for you.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, this episode has been so insightful for me, because now I feel like I've gotten lots of the tips now, so I can really go ahead and rebrand and go to my audience and try not to appeal to so many people that it just doesn't work. So thank you so much, Mark. Now, where can people find you? On socials, on a website, where can people find you?
Look, first of all, thanks for having me. Hopefully there's something useful there.
It was fantastic.
The easiest place is our business website is horseandwater.com.au. That's horseandwater.com.au. Look at the Save the Great Idea video on there. That's at least a good laugh for anyone who hasn't seen that yet. And more than happy for anyone to get in touch for a chat.
Fantastic. Well, thank you everybody for watching, and go check out horseandwater.com. Is it .au or just .com?
.com.au. Yeah.
.com.au, everybody. Go check that out. Here it is up on lower thirds. That's fantastic. And, well, I guess we'll have to see you in the next episode. Now, next week, I have camera 2, and also, I don't know who I have on, but that's always the fun about this show. I find every single week I have a better and better conversation with my guests, and it is really helping me, and I really hope it's helping you as well, because, everyone on this show, they put in their time to give me this information and give you this information. So if you're taking something from this, then we know it's worked. Anyway, thank you for watching the show. Now you'll see a quick outro. Well, that was a very interesting episode, wasn't it? Now I think it's time for you to continue scrolling on Facebook. It was great. I really loved that. And
thank you, man. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no, I really loved that. It was just so nice to hear all of these tips and everything like that, because